What's up, everyone? I think I promised this yesterday, Ellie. The two of us returning, Emily Gagnon and Ellie Parker.
Oh, I love it when we do this together.
For a Thursday. It is Thursday, correct?
Thursday.
Yes, and it is July, 25th?
July 25th.
So does that mean we are exactly, 5 months away from Christmas now? Yeah.
Yes,
7 plus
5.
5. So 5 months away from Christmas.
Oh, my God.
Here we are. But yeah, I mean, yesterday I told you guys we'd have a lot to talk about, and we continue to,
We continue to have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's a great problem. Falcons training camp day 1 today. Yesterday was report day. Today is when they actually get going, practice. It's funny because, like, when they report, they come in laughing, smiles on their faces, all that. And that goes away pretty quickly, okay? Because let's be honest, practicing in this Georgia heat and humidity, at least they did it
you
in
might
the
be
morning.
able to see, for context, I live literally across the street from the station.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sweating like this.
Yeah.
Just the 2 minutes it takes me to walk from my apartment to this spot in the studio.
It's
real.
Yeah.
It's real.
Oh, yeah.
It's hot. It's humid.
It's hot.
I can't imagine
Practicing in it.
specifically NFL practices.
Yeah, and they get it going at 9:30, so they try to get it early enough.
9:30 in the morning, no.
And they go for a few hours. The only good thing, Ellie, is that the rain here in Georgia this year, which has been every single day this summer,
It was
holds
so
off.
bad
The
yesterday.
rain holds off though, right, until like later.
Yeah.
So at least they can get their practices in the morning. But if you, again, fans not allowed this year, but if you look on the field, you will see two people you have not seen play in a while, which obviously is Kirk Cousins, the first-year Falcon, veteran quarterback, and he's been cleared to play.
Yes.
So that's one thing about
Although they
Cousins.
did say he's taking modified snaps.
Yes, so he's going to ease into it, but he has been cleared to do whatever it is that he needs to do. So if they had to play tomorrow, he would be a full go.
Yes.
Grady Jarrett, the heart and soul of the defense, the defensive tackle, he has also, been out since week 8 last season when he got injured against the Titans. So he's back on the field as well. He has a brace around his knee. But two of them, big-time vets when it comes to football, back. But we did hear from the quarterback earlier today.
My situation, it's just great to be moving around in football cleats again and feeling stronger, being able to compare it to 6 weeks ago. I feel much more athletic and much less, pain. And so it's just exciting to be back in it and expecting to be able to, practice full go here. And, heaven forbid there would be a setback. Outside of that, I feel ready to go. And that's exciting because it has been a long journey. So, tomorrow we'll be able to pick up the tempo a little more and can't wait for that. So take any questions you have.
So, yes, Kurt, Coach said you were medically cleared, and you had mentioned August 1st as a date. How did it feel to be cleared a little bit sooner than you had anticipated during the recovery process?
Yeah, it was kind of always a goal to try to speed up the process, but I also learned as it was my first time coming back from a surgery, you only want to speed up as much as your body lets you. So at the end of the day, speeding it up is not as important as just letting your body heal. And if anything, I probably, at times tried to force it too much, and you just got to let it happen. So learned a lot going through the process, and now looking forward to really the last part of the rehab is playing football. I think that's what I need to do now is make cuts, be in football cleats, play football, and that's really how I'm going to rehab this thing to the finish line.
What could you share about the ramp-up plan, and he said maybe there might be some modifications as y'all move along here?
Yeah, I think that would be a more conservative approach. I think I don't want to, over-promise and under-deliver. My desire would be to go out every single day, not have a setback, push, play my normal way, and be able to do everything and go. Because we haven't gone through a training camp yet, it's hard to say, but that is my expectation. But at the risk of over-promising and under-delivering, I think Coach just wanted to temper expectations and say if you have to take a day off or take a period off, or if you have to kind of have a ramp-up period, there's no harm in that with how far away the Steelers game is. But my preference or desire and how I feel would be to just go and let that be the rehab.
How is your relationship with Jesse Bates as well?
Well, as with so many teammates, I need to get to know him more. You know, there's a lot more to go, but I just have a lot of respect for him as a football player, first of all, and I think his presence. You know, there's guys in this league who are great players, but don't really impact anybody else around them. I feel like Jesse goes beyond just being a great player, but he affects the whole secondary, the whole defense. I think that's when you feel like you have a guy who's going just from a good player to a great player. It's affecting the whole unit, and he also has a humility to his work. You know, it's not like he certainly has a swagger, but it's not like he's always look at me, and you know he's just going to do his job and be a pro and try to help people along the way. And you know, he asked to watch film together, which tells you something, just the fact that he would ask. And in doing so, I felt like I learned maybe more than he learned from me. And so we got to do more of that. So that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg right now. But, you know, he's also going to be a bit of a thorn in my side during training camp because of the disguises, because of the messy looks. I stopped trying to discern the coverage during the play a long time ago during OTAs because it was that muddy, and I felt like I'm better off just looking for open spaces and going through my progressions, because if I try to figure out what these coverages are, he's doing such a good job disguising them, I'm going to be waiting a long time. So I could talk a long time about Jesse, but I'm really excited to, in a training camp setting at full speed in pads, watch him practice. I can't wait to watch him in games this year. And the last thing I'll say about him is, you know, I'm going to buy jerseys for my kids. I'm probably going to buy a Grady Jarrett jersey for my boys, and I'm probably going to buy a Jesse Bates jersey. If that gives you any idea of who I want my kids to be like, who I want them to wear jerseys of, it'll be Jesse Bates and Grady Jarrett.
Have you ever watched film with the DB like that before in OTAs? Just the two of you?
Well, so that would be an example of, I have done it, but that would be an example of if I could go back as a player, I would have done that a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, I regret, you got to know how to get better. And as a young player, you don't even know how. And I just wish I had, in year 1, 2, 3, you know, grabbed the DB and sat down with him and made the time and asked questions. But as a young player, you may not even know the questions to ask. And so now at this stage in my career, I know how to get a lot out of that meeting. And, you know, make no mistake, in my final years, I'm gonna do those kinds of things and maximize those opportunities.
Kirk, for your continued development as a player, even though where you are in your career, the GoPro camera. Give
Yeah.
me an idea about that. Is this the first time you've done something like that, and what that can do for you?
Well, I think it's a great tool for the coaches to be able to hear the play come into my helmet, so they know what was communicated. They can hear me communicate it to the huddle. They can hear anything else being said in the huddle. And it's just one more tool to provide information and feedback for me. I can better feel how I come across. I got to tell you, Archie, that you know, I'll say a joke that I thought was pretty funny, and then I'll go back and listen to it, and I'll say, don't say that. That wasn't good, you know. Or I'll watch it. I'll be like, I thought I was cool, but then I watch the video. I'm like, I'm a nerd, you know. So, and I joke with them. I say, it's kind of like the KGB because, you know, you guys are listening to everything I say. You know, the huddle used to be my time, but now you guys are in there, and the huddle's bugged. So, and I tell my teammates, I say, you know, you guys are not getting let off the hook. You know, if you say, hey, check, you know, what's the player? What do I have here? I said, the whole building knows. So it's probably more like a spy technique than anything else. But feedback is feedback, and it's just one more tool.
How much do you get confirmation as to where your eyes are, things like that? Does that help you as well?
Yeah, there's some of that too, certainly with where the helmet's going. I think that's another tool that they can use, that I can use. And I think it's a balance, right? You know, we've talked about, hey, it's good to hold your eyes, but there's times where it's, Kirk, your eyes are down the middle way too long. You know, you got to get your eyes over to the throw, or maybe it's the opposite. And hey, you don't have to stare at the throw right away. You got a second here to hold your eyes. So each play is its own entity, and you got to kind of coach that fundamental for each one. But that is one more tool.
Kirk, Grady was talking about how you guys kind of bonded because you got hurt at the same time.
Yeah.
Late in your careers with major injuries. I'm just wondering, when you did get hurt, did you do much research with the guys who had your same injury, you know, age-wise or anything like that, kind of as a comparison?
Yeah, I actually did a top 10 power rankings of people who have torn their Achilles, period. Like Al Gore tore his Achilles. Judi Dench tore her Achilles, I think when she was in the Broadway musical Cats. And, you know, I think you got Kobe, obviously. You got Klay Thompson. You got Kevin Durant. I think Tiger Woods tore his Achilles, but I didn't even realize. So I took a lot of hope, knowing that, you know, a lot of people came back and led really successful lives after torn Achilles. You know, Al Gore became vice president. So, you know, there's a lot of positives there. So there was hope for me in that case. And that's kind of where we are. So, yeah, I try to learn from those examples. And, I mean, whether it's Zoe, Nate Landman, those guys that tore their Achilles, you know, gone on to be great players. So took a lot of hope from that. Asked them a lot about their rehab, what they experienced, what I should be aware of. Their perspective was very helpful, and Grady is just, he's been really impressive. Coming back from a knee should be a lot longer than Achilles, but it really wasn't because he's Grady Jarrett. So he just did a great job, doing his thing to get back, and impressive what he's been able to do.
So that being said, Kirk, would you say relief is a appropriate word for you for how you feel when you think about
Yeah.
all that?
I think it's a cautious relief, right? I think there's a little bit of let's check back in February, because I want to get to where I've truly got some experience up there after the injury. But no, I feel like there was a lot to work through, and it's now in the rearview mirror, and that is a good feeling.
Kirk, I don't want to call it nerves, but when you're working your way back from a major injury like that and you're ramping up and speed's coming at you, when all that stuff happens, where are you mentally with things like that?
I'll be okay. The strength's there. If anything, I feel really good because you're wondering if you're going to have to do it, with your heel in the ground or not being able to get on your toe. And so now that you can, you say, oh, this is gravy. I'm back to my athletic self from before. So, that's a real positive.
Kirk, working off that, taking modified reps today, in terms of taking dropbacks full speed planting, where are you at in that?
Yeah, I expect to be able to do it tomorrow whenever we get going with individual and all the team periods. I expect to be able to go and make the throws and just basically by doing that, that's how it's going to get stronger. That's how I'm going to be able to keep closing the doors just by playing football full speed.
Is that something you've been able to do yet?
Yeah. So all the summer, being able to make those movements as I'm cutting and kind of just testing it as we go, just keep taking another step in how I'm moving.
How'd this offseason feel different, not having to be in your in-laws' basement in your house?
Yeah. So the funny part is we got there March 15th-ish, and we moved right into my in-laws' basement. And we bought the house, I don't know if it was early May. And so then we had a couple touch-ups to do, so we still were in my in-laws' basement. So it was still like 2 more months. It was like a grand finale in my in-laws' basement before. And then this past weekend, I went back up to Michigan just for one last hurrah to see some people before we start. And my wife stayed back here with my one son, and she went right back to my in-laws' basement while I was gone. So I know she likes it there. She gets some grandparent help, so that helps her. And I'm sure we're not quite done with the in-laws basement. I know that family who comes in to visit for games are going to be able to stay in my in-laws basement, but no, we got plenty of square footage now for our own space.
All right, Kirk Cousins. Day 1 of training camp in Flowery Branch for the Falcons and for the quarterback who should I call him new? Can I call him new? I guess he's new, right?
Yeah,
he's never
new
gone through
new to the Falcons.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
He's never gone through training camp in Atlanta. So we'll see what happens there. But sticking with football, Kennesaw State now in Conference USA. I think I mentioned it. I don't know. I didn't mention it yesterday, did I? Were we
I don't
together?
think we did.
Okay, so earlier this week, Kennesaw State was at Conference USA's Media Day, and that took place in Frisco, Texas. Funny enough, that's where SEC Media Days were in Dallas, Texas. So both conferences, in their both respective conferences in the Lone Star State. A lot happens in Texas, okay?
A lot.
Anyhow, it's an exciting year for them because they have now joined the FBS, right? They leave the FCS.
You can play them in college football 25 is one of the worst teams in the game.
Oh, man. But, it's going to take time.
It's going to take time.
Coach Bohannon's been there since day 1. He's built it from the ground up. But he did say before the season started that, and Ellie, I understand that this was the best recruiting class that he had ever had, and that's because now you can recruit different kind of athletes when they're competing in FBS instead of FCS, correct?
Yep.
Any thoughts on your end?
I mean, I'm really excited to have another FBS program in Georgia, especially one so close to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Especially since Kennesaw State can really throw their weight around in other sports. It'll be exciting to see how the Owls do in the FBS.
Yeah, let's hear from Coach Bo earlier this week. The one thing I really like that he said, and I don't know if we'll get to it in this actual press conference because we have limited time, obviously. But he mentioned the fact that he just feels like not only is the program moving in the right direction, but they just drafted their very first player ever to the NFL this past offseason, Travis Bell, defensive lineman, went to Chicago in the 6th or 7th round. So for him, that was a major milestone. Like, hey, we finally drafted a player. We're moving into a bigger, better division. So for him, this is some good stuff.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us here at the 2024 CUSA Kickoff presented by Sideline Design. We are joined first this morning by Kennesaw State head coach Brian Bohannon and student athletes Michael Benefield and Sydney Porter. We're going to open with an opening statement from Coach before we jump to questions. Anyone on Zoom, please raise your hand, and we'll get to you after we get done in the room. Coach, go ahead.
Absolutely. First of all, we're excited to be here. Thanks for having us. What a great time to be at Kennesaw State University. Our first year going FBS, first year going to Conference USA. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz around our campus and community about this opportunity we have, and we're excited about it as well. There's a lot of unique things going on at this time. We're a young program. We're going into our 10th season of football. We're already making this jump to Conference USA, which is it's a huge and heavy lift, but an exciting lift. I got a little insight in some of the opportunities in the midweek games last year I got to watch, and what an unbelievably competitive league we're going into. We know we got our work cut out for us. We're excited about the opportunity to put our brand on national TV, not only for our football program, but for our community, for our university. A lot of exciting stuff going on right now, and we're awful proud and thankful to be a part of this move. I do got two outstanding young men with me today, both going into their last season of playing college football. And I know that they take a lot of pride in doing this the right way and showing, I think, really not just Conference USA, but college football in general, what Kennesaw State football is about. And I think that's really a mission of ours, is to go out and be competitive and show who we are and what we're about.
All right, any questions in the room? Right here in front.
Coach Ken Capps from Football Writers Association of America. What are you expecting in your first year? And Coach Ken Capps from Football Writers Association of America. What are you specifically expecting from your first year in Conference USA?
Well, I think it's a great question. You talk about expectations. I think for us to go out, and we have a lot to prove, right? We're going to probably pick last in about everything you could imagine. And, it's probably been since 2015 that we've been in that situation. But I think we want to prove and show to people how we play and our brand of football and go out and be competitive. Obviously, we want to win. I mean, that's always been a part of what we do. But I think more importantly, to go show who we are, what we're about, and how we play our brand of Kennesaw State football. I think that's the biggest thing. And we'll kind of let it play out from there, whatever that might be. There's no unrealistic expectations put on our program. Listen, we've played 5 FBS games in the history of our program. We've played 9 seasons of football. We've played 5 FBS games. We haven't won one yet. So right now, we want to go out, we want to get to first, and then we want to build on that.
Anybody else? Great. Coach, you've been with this program since its start. What has this process been like getting to this point, and how proud are you to see where you've come?
Well, it's been a lot, in all honesty. I mean, we started the program from scratch. There are some similarities, and when we started then, because we're really in a reset now as we make this move, there's similarities, but they're different. We have won games, so it's a little different now than it was then. But we're transitioning twice in a way. We started the program. Our first season of football was 2015, and our first season of FBS football obviously will be this coming season. And unique, challenging, heavy lift, all the above. There's a lot of moving parts to this, but I think at the end of the day, we're going to have a chance to go out and put that KS in everybody's living room throughout the season, and you just can't. That's priceless.
Right here on the front.
Steve Richardson from Football Writers. Can you maybe pinpoint a couple areas where you think you'll be tested just because of where you're coming from, like, you know, size, speed, and also the areas where you think you probably match up very well with any of the teams in the league?
So it's a little bit of an unknown in some areas. We do have some familiarity with some of the teams, but a lot of the teams we have not played. So I think there'll be some unknowns for us this year. I think the biggest difference to me is the lines of scrimmage. When you make that move from one level to the next, it's the lines of scrimmage. And I think that's where we've been working on up front on the offensive line. We transitioned some things we're doing offensively, so we've had to build that out, and on the defensive line as well. Not that every position's not important and moving up, but I think that's the biggest difference is going to be on the lines of scrimmage. And so those are areas we got to continue to work on. You don't do that overnight. That takes some time. This is a little bit of a build, right? Like, this isn't going to happen overnight. But I think those are the biggest areas.
All right, Michael, you started as a walk-on. How do you hope to build off of your strong season last year, 4 straight 100-yard rushing games, and what do you kind of look to build to this year?
Absolutely. In terms of, building up, as Coach Bo said, we want to get that first win, that first FBS game, and then we want to build on that. So that's, kind of where we are as a team and a program right now. Just get our name out there and getting that first win.
Right here, everyone.
Sydney, Ken Capps again from Football Writers. Conference USA is known as a passing league, and you've got some great quarterbacks in this league. What's it going to be like for you in this first year as a DB, trying to keep up with all these quarterbacks and receivers you've got in Conference USA?
I'm looking forward every challenge every week. We know we have our work cut out for us, like Coach Bo said. But we're going to come in, work every day, practice hard. We have good receivers on our team as well, so they're giving us a look. So it wouldn't be no different. We're just excited to be here, and we're going to work for it.
In the back.
Guys, Tony Thomas, College Football Dogs. Y'all returned 9 starters on defense from last year's team, and y'all allowed only 17 points a game, which is pretty good. How's that going to translate this year to a little bit of an upgrade in competition?
You want me to answer? Yeah, you go. I think obviously it helps to have guys who have played. I think last year for us was a very unique season. As we transitioned, we redshirted a lot of kids. We had very little, if any, continuity. At the end of the day, we want to find a way to win. Whether that's scoring a bunch of points, not scoring enough, defense find a way to win, special teams, we as a program want to find a way to win. But I think obviously having guys that have played is huge. You can't replace experience. It's the old adage. I mean, you're not necessarily going to replace a junior that has played with a freshman. You can't replace experience. So I think having some guys that have been on the field, have played the games, have been a part of it, is definitely going to help us as we go on this journey.
Back to Ellie's favorite topic. If you missed yesterday's show, Ellie, I'm gonna let you take this one.
It's
away.
the Olympics.
Yes.
The opening ceremony is tomorrow. But again, we've had more events. The U.S. women's national team smacked around Zambia 3-0 after Zambia went down to 10 women. First match under new coach Emma Hayes. Women looked amazing. They looked.
That's what you want to see.
Yes, absolutely what you want to see, especially after that, at least for the United States, pretty bad World Cup performance, which led to former Chelsea coach Emma Hayes coming over to the United States. However, the men's rugby sevens team got smacked around by Fiji.
Again.
Now, granted, Fiji is the best rugby team in the world, especially for rugby
Are they
sevens.
really?
Yes.
I did not know that fact.
Polynesian countries tend to love rugby.
That's their jam?
Yes,
That's their football?
that is their jam. That is their football, their soccer. That's the dominant sport. So, the U.S., we're not a rugby country. Getting smacked around by the best team in the world, not surprising.
We'll take it.
Obviously, opening ceremony tomorrow. We covered it yesterday. LeBron James and Coco Gauff are scheduled to be the U.S. flag bearers, which is huge. Probably the biggest names that have ever carried the flags for the United States. I mean, come on, it's LeBron.
I know, and you know, it's funny because I feel like LeBron's doing it because it's like he knows he's like towards the end.
Yeah.
So he's probably like this, you know.
I think he's already said he will not be part of the team in 2028.
Yeah, I mean.
Which
what are
those
the-
games will be in Los Angeles.
What are the
So-
chances he's still playing in 2028? I mean, I don't.
Oh, I would put them next to 0. That's 4 years.
Yeah, it's not happening. Like I think
4 years.
you know, he wanted to play with his son. He gets that this year, and then he's like, deuces.
I
I'm out.
think this is the end.
Yeah, which is the end to a great career.
To the greatest career in basketball history. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna mince
So,
words.
Yeah.
Okay.
High school football media days
High
here
school
in
football
Georgia.
media days. We had a lot of media days recently. We had SEC media days. We had CUSA media days. Jesus, I cannot talk today.
That's okay.
And high school football media days for Georgia down in Macon. Warner Robins finished 5th in Square Atlanta's 5A rankings. They were first on the docket today.
And not really like looking to run so fast. Always looking to pass the ball, get out my hand early and often.
And then give us a little bit of intel on kind of how you guys are looking on offensive. I feel like that's a part that's a little underrated for Warner Robins that a lot of people don't talk about. But offensively, beside yourself, who should we watch for?
Man, we got a great running back core with 3 running backs with D-Lab, Trap, and Kelsey. I mean, we got a good running back core. Our O-line, of course, I mean, very experienced, very strong. I believe that our line of scrimmage is probably our best spot right now. And then the receiving core, we got good tight ends with Damian Batts and Addy, and then with our receiving core with Ezra Goins and Jacoby Parsons and Jordan Perkins. I mean, I believe we have a pretty well-rounded offense. Just keep improving day by day with our young receiving core and everything.
And then obviously your coach talked about finish, kind of being one of those core principles. But any other things you guys or mottos you guys like to kind of go by?
Main thing, just moving fast, having a high tempo offense, just moving the ball, not just limiting mistakes mainly, always getting the ball out early.
And then I want anyone watching to get to know Middle Georgia football, Central Georgia. Kaylee said there was a difference yesterday, but from Atlanta, obviously last year was hugely successful. Teams like Perry, the run you guys have had. What kind of defines to you Middle Georgia football?
I mean, Middle Georgia football is just physical, bunch of athletes all over the place. I mean, we just move fast, and I believe like Middle Georgia football is just the most well-rounded football in Georgia. I mean, everybody from the O-line to D-line to the DBs, secondary, skill players, everybody's just are hungry and everybody's just fast and everybody's ready to go to the next level.
Exactly. And you guys get a little bit of both each season, some Atlanta teams, some South Georgia. What are your thoughts, though, just looking at this year's schedule, just how excited you are for these premier matchups week after week?
I mean, I'm excited, ready to just get it going. I mean, we've been waiting since winter just to get out here and get ready to plan. Now, season coming up against Peach County this next week and then getting ready for Lee County. And then we got a real tough region that I'm just excited to go against and get ready for the playoffs.
I think it's the toughest region in the entire state. Najee and I have talked about it. In terms of just the overall playbook, how have you enjoyed it this summer? Just adding new pieces, getting new guys involved.
I mean, the playbook this summer has been a lot different. Just we have a lot of different type of ways we get the ball to players' hands. I mean, we can do a lot of different things. We're very multiple set. I mean, Coach Ezra does a great job at just not being one-dimensional and not being very reliant on a tendency. He tries to adjust his tendencies every week, work on what he struggles on, and always tries to find a way to get better.
Certainly. Well, guys, that's all the time that we have now. We appreciate you guys so much for coming out to High School Media Day here in Macon. We know you guys are a powerhouse. Good luck.
All right, so high school football media days, lots more coming because there's a lot of high schools in Georgia, but that's one of many. What's on your mind, Ellie?
Dylan Cease, no-hitter, Milton native. So congratulations to him. We'll probably talk about it more tomorrow.
That's it?
Yep.
You don't want 10 more seconds of it?
Nope.
Okay.
We got to get out of here.
Have a good night, guys. We're good.